All right, we're back with another very special edition for you. Our special guest is a world-renowned, award-winning record promoter, entertainment executive, real estate, and much more. And now a guitar manufacturer. Please welcome Marko Babineau.
Thank you so much, Jay. Always a pleasure to
Marko,
be
tell
here.
us, I saw your guitar in person, the music industry reunion. What a beautiful, beautiful guitar. And you started to tell me the story. I said, we have to share this with the world. So please tell me how it started and what makes these guitars unique.
Sure. Well, first, good morning, Jay. Great to see and hear you, and great to be here again and get
Yes.
to speak on a number of topics in the world of music. And
Yes.
it's so almost ironic how things come full circle, how the smallest things can turn into something really big. And last September, I was walking through um, a property with my one of my clients, and he happens to be recording singer songwriter, and he has his own label. And we, oh, I opened the door of the house after ringing the bell, and no one answered. And of course, when I open any door like that, I yell, "Agent, hello," and no reply. So we walked in, and we're walking through the house, and my client's like so awed by some of the wood detail in the house and how beautiful it is. And as we walk into the family room, against the wall, leaning against the wall, was a guitar body, and it had this treatment in the wood. It looked like it was burnt into the wood, and it looked like lightning. It was really incredible looking. And I picked it up and I said, "Charles, what do you think of this?" And he goes, "Oh my God, that's awesome. What a cool thing." And all of a sudden, this body shows up in the hallway, comes walking out, some guy in a robe with his hair all stuck out. And I thought maybe it was a squatter. I had no idea. And I said, "Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm a real estate agent." He goes, I know, I'm the owner. I was expecting you guys. I'm Frank." So I introduced myself to Frank, introduced him to Charles, and saying what a lovely house. But I said, "Frank, I got to ask you, what's the deal with this guitar body?" And he goes, "Well, I burn furniture. I I burn end tables and bureaus with this electricity process where we treat the wood and we electrify it, and it burns these fractals into the wood, and it's a pretty amazing process." And I said, "Do you ever think about guitars?" And he said, "Not really." And I said, "This is where the money is." Cut to, we formed a partnership a couple of months later, actually on October 24th, which happens to be an anniversary for me. So it's an unforgettable day. And over the last handful of months, we created a website, and we went to NAMM, and David Ellefson from Megadeth, who's a very, very dear friend of mine. He's now got his own own
Yes.
band, Kings of Thrash. And he said, "Come sit at our booth. You don't need your own booth. You don't have enough to promote yet, but bring a guitar or two with your treatment on it, and you can just set up shop with me." So we went to NAMM this past year, and his booth was so crowded with vendors.
Oh, yeah, I was there. It was like you had to schedule an appointment, It was
Right.
nuts.
And he had bands on the hour coming for autograph sessions. So you couldn't even step inside his booth area. So Frank and I just propped in two folding chairs right on the aisle, right outside, and held these guitars, and people just came up to us. And I knew at that point we had something, because every guitar player came up and grabbed it, and we took pictures with them, and they played it a little, and they just looked and they said, "We've never seen anything like this." Now, this treatment has been around for years, and it's public. We couldn't patent it and make it exclusive to us, but the one thing we did is we're first to market with it.
Yeah.
So through this process, this is the prototype. This is um, as you can see, those are burnt into the guitar body,
Right.
and you can really see it
There's a
also.
real relief to it, you know, it's depth.
And the treatment, it's just really amazing how it works. And um, of course, I found out down the line how incredibly dangerous it is, because there's been a whole litany of people that have electrocuted themselves doing this.
Oh.
But it's an incredible process, and Frank and I have proceeded to get set up, and we showed these guitars to Geo. Geo is the head of Black Volt Amplification, and Geo's company, they make handmade wooden amplifiers, and we all see amps on stage. They all have that black vinyl cover, or some of them might be colored, but anyways, he makes them natural wood, and they're seamless. They're tube amps. They're all hand soldered. Instead of the typical little amp dials, he has these old like sci-fi movie big round dials, and it's just it. And the speaker cloth is not the typical silver or black grill cloth. He uses like Navajo blankets, and they just have a super unique look to them. And if you go on our site, there's a few pictures of our guitars with one of Geo's amps.
Okay.
Anyway, he was so blown away by the look of the body that we have partnered up with him. We've already burnt a handful of guitars. And for instance, this country artist was going to Black Volt shop to pick up one of his amplifiers for the road. And when he walked in the door, and you walk in Geo's shop, there's guitars all over the wall, and they're all beautiful collectible guitars. But in the midst of all that, on one of the tables was lying one of our burnt bodies. And this artist picked it up and he goes, "What is this?" And he goes, "Well, this is Nefarious. It's a new company. We partnered up and they burn the wood." And he threw 5,000 down on the table. He goes, "I want it when it's finished." Just almost sight unseen, because the guitar wasn't made.
Yeah.
And since then, the guitar body I burnt and the finished guitar I sold to the Sheikh of Kuwait. And these sell for a pretty high price, because Black Volt's guitars that Geo makes, he finds reclaimed wood from forests and places that they're anywhere from 50 to 100 years old wood, like beautiful, beautiful rich woods. And he uses nothing but the best elements into the guitar. So they're really well made. And his client base is about 12,000 people. So it was a good way for us to get Nefarious out in the public through Black Volt. And obviously this year we'll have our own booth at NAMM. And we're not only doing guitars, but we're doing guitar pick guards too, because for that player who can't afford to spend a few thousand on a Nefarious guitar, he can just have a guitar where we burn the pick guard.
Yes.
And the pick guards will sell probably for a couple $100, but it's also a super effect. That being seen on like a white body guitar or black, gold, whatever, solid color, that really pops. And through this process, we met an artist. We actually have, if you go on our site, nefarious1.com, we've done what we call the cherry blossom guitar, and we burnt the body of the guitar, and on the tips of the burn at the ends, she has painted little lotus blossoms, flowers. And we actually, through Black Volt, are going to do some matching lotus blossom guitar and amp combos. And we're also going to do Nefarious burn guitars with burnt Black Volt amplifiers too. And we also met a henna artist, and she does henna work. And that's also on our site. And it's a thing, you just have to see it. And on one of our pages, I think it's on the guitar pickguard page, you see her actually hennaing the body of the guitar in a video. It's pretty amazing. And we treat it over that so it doesn't move and it doesn't fade. And like henna, it's it's coming off the face of the wood. So it's a beautiful combination when you burn a guitar body and henna it too. So we're still coming up with ideas, and we have some varied ways to approach it. We took one guitar body, just a red body, bright red body, and we put it looks like chocolate kisses all over the body, and they're little black rubber kisses that have points on the end. And it's, uh, and we're going to stick a black and white checkered neck on it. And, there'll be some punk band out there or someone that's going to see that and go, wow, that's really cool. It's really different. I've never seen that before. So we're really dabbling into the arts to see what we can come with beyond just the burn. But the burn itself that's really where the money is. That's where, and every body we burn is unique. We can't burn another
Yes.
body the same because the current goes through the wood grain. So every piece of wood burns differently. And we're trying all kinds of different wood bodies to see how the burn works on it. And it's been really fun, but we're actually talking to Sweetwater right now, trying to broker a big guitar order. And if that happens, the world will know of Nefarious. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Well, they're handmade, and we go back in our thoughts about, wood burning in shop class, and, the idea of a tree is one of the most majestic things in nature besides a mountain. Some of these trees are hundreds of years old, or there's so many different types of wood that the combination of this unique art burned, with the process, different types of wood. Each one's handmade. These are like the Rolls Royce, of guitars.
Yeah, and
So
we've taken meetings with two or three luthiers around Southern California, and we're also putting together a couple of wholesale deals for, the pickups and the bridges and the string setup,
yeah,
all of the hardware that'll go into the guitars. So right now we're sticking with Black Bolt amplification because he's already up and running. And but eventually we'll just be making Nefarious guitars on our own. And we've been in lumber yards for the last few weeks, and I've seen some incredible woods. We found this purple heart wood, this wood that is literally purple, and it's a really hard wood. It'll be beautiful to burn. And we're still looking. There's a rainbow. There's a rainbow. I forget what's rainbow, some kind of tree that literally it looks like a black tree with bright colors, lines running through it, but not just, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, they're bright. It looks like someone painted on this tree. And we're just in the process of trying to find this wood because I can't even begin to imagine what that's going to look like on a body of a guitar. So we're having fun with this.
yeah, it sounds like a blast. It's quality over quantity. It's handmade. It's a work of art.
Mm-hmm.
Guitar collectors, are used to these guitars that are churned out of factories. And, of course, there's a mythology about the year and all that. But, there's not a lot new in the guitar world. So to
I
come up with
actually,
something like this is brilliant.
yeah, and actually the whole stressed look, which has been popular for
Yeah.
about 20 years now, where someone just rubs off the top of the guitar and, chips up
Oh,
some of the
yeah.
on the bottom, takes
Looks
rubber
well used.
over it,
Yes.
sand it, put it in a gravel spinner, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's been done, and that's great. A lot of people like that stressed look. But I mean, once again, this is something brand new, and it's really exciting. And like, God willing, most guitar players, they want one of everything. So I think there's room for us out there.
Yeah, no doubt. Those are some power moves too. Talking Sweetwater, obviously the biggest retailer out there. And, obviously there's going to be some key artists with your history and connections that will want to be an endorsee and, do photo shoots with these guitars. So Yeah, NAM is the place. I'm a speaker at NAM every year. I fill a big ballroom upstairs and
Oh,
pack it out. I'd
fabulous.
love to give you the coordinates on that and have you come up and show your guitars on stage, or as everybody empties out of the ballroom, show and tell there. But yeah,
Sounds
it's
great.
amazing. Um, my guest on my panel is Ted Cohen. You might know him as the former head of artist development at Warner Brothers and
I
head
know
of
Ted.
digital at EMI and all that. Yeah, everybody knows Ted. I call
Yeah.
him Uncle Ted.
Teddy was one of the first guys in the music business to collect laminates.
Oh
And I
yeah,
remember I would go to his office because Geffen was distributed by Warner's for years.
sure.
First, I think 5 to 6 years of the inception of Geffen. And you'd open Ted's door, and the whole door was lined with laminates. I mean, it must have had 300 laminates on his door alone. But yeah, Ted's a great guy, knows the business well. And yeah, we'd be honored to show our works on your panel. That would
Abs
be, thank you.
Absolutely. No, it's always a pleasure to collaborate. And yeah, I love to see things in its infancy. And I know you've been putting some time now into this, but to see it roll out to the world, we can't be more excited to help share the word. And I know NAM will be here before we know it in January. And, here we go, a new year, new era, new prosperity, abounds. So, very, very exciting after your career in promoting these artists and breaking their songs on radio to be able to, put something in their hands, that, or put it on their walls. These are definitely guitars I see hanging in a lot of man caves, some very
Yeah.
nice homes, and some very serious guitar collectors.
Yeah, and we did a one-off. We took a telly body and we built this guitar with Foo Dog, who's a luthier downtown, lives in this great music commune
Okay.
of dwellers. And Foo Dog helped us with this, where my partner Frank had this notion. He goes, I see denim jackets with rock and roll patches on them every time I go to a concert or anywhere. And what do you think about doing a guitar? So we literally wrapped the body of the guitar in stressed denim, and we carved out all of these rock and roll patches we put on the guitar initially. And Foo Dog went and carved out each patch so they lie flush on the body with the denim. But we're in the process of brokering a promotion. We're actually going to auction that guitar off. We're calling it basically the patch guitar, the Nefarious patch guitar. We're going to auction it off at probably Guitar Center in Hollywood. It'll be on display probably for a month, and we're trying to tie KLOS in it and maybe Amoeba Records and Levi's, and really do a promotion. And the great thing about Guitar Center is their charity, their fundraisers all the money will go to less fortunate musicians that can't afford equipment. So we're really hoping that when we get it on display and these other elements promoting it, cross promoting it, that in that period of time we can raise a whole lot of money. And there's going to be some kid that's going to come in and say, Dad, I want that. And the funny thing is, it plays magnificently. So it's something you could put in plexiglass, frame it, put it on the wall, but you can also just snap it out, plug it in, and blaze away.
Yeah, Guitar Center has those beautiful glass cases, so I can imagine it being admired every day. And right there by the rock walk, all the
Right?
handprints of the rock stars. And yeah, they do have a great history. And they get that big mural now of Edward Van Halen on the back wall, the
Yeah.
parking lot. So
Huh?
yeah, a lot of history there.
So we're just trying to find various ways to get the Nefarious name out there, and you know, once again, giving back to the guitar community. It's all full circle stuff.
Well, we can't wait to get the word out. Nefarious1.com, the website. Our special guest is the innovator, the pioneer, Marko Babineau. Marko, thank you so much for sharing all this information.